Happy to get back with you all in this session. In this, we are going to see about the criminal procedural code chapters. As in earlier session, we were having a look at the Indian Penal Code chapters, and here in this, we will be seeing the criminal procedure code chapters. And then in the upcoming sessions, we will be going through this each section and its explanation and illustrations, and then in the important case laws amendments everything will be discussed. So now in this we will be uh, getting to know about the chapters of the criminal procedure codes. Here it is totally 37 chapters in criminal procedure code 1973. So the first and foremost in every code is preliminary. So chapter 1 is preliminary, and chapter 2 it is a constitution of the criminal courts and offices. In CRPC it will be easy for us to remember the chapters because the one and next two then three everything will be related. We can easily remember it. Okay, now chapter 1 is preliminary and chapter 2 is constitution of criminal courts and offices. So once the constitution of the courts and offices is explained, then it will be what all are the powers of such courts. So chapter 1 preliminary, chapter 2 is the constitution of criminal courts and offices, and chapter 3 is the power of the courts. So once the power of the court is explained in chapter 3, then the chapter 4 is deals with the power of the superior officers of police and aid to the magistrates and the police. So after the court powers are mentioned, the power of the superior officers of police and how they aid to the magistrates and the other polices is mentioned in chapter 4. Power of courts in chapter 3 and power of the superior officers of police in chapter 4. So chapter 5 is considering the detailed explanations about the arrest of the person, how an arrest can be made and how who can make it, and what situations the arrest can be made without warrant or such. Everything is mentioned in chapter 5. And coming to chapter 6 is the process to compel the appearance. So once arrest is made, it is chapter 5, and how to compel the appearance, the processes, the how the form and the how it should be served, the warrant issued or the summon served, everything will be mentioned in chapter 6. So now if we can recollect once again from chapter first it is preliminary, the next it comes chapter 2 is the constitution of criminal courts, the courts are constituted. Chapter 3 is the power of the courts. So once power of the court is mentioned, then comes power of the superior officers of police, and then it comes as 5. Fifth chapter is arrest of persons, and 6 is the processes to compel the appearance. So totally there is 37 chapters. In that now we have completed 6 chapters. Next it is chapter 7. Chapter 7 is process to compel the production of things. So 6 is to compel the appearance of a person. So 7 is to compel the production of things. That's all. 6 and 7 are related. Then comes 7a. 7a is the reciprocal arrangement for assistance in certain matters and procedure for attachment and forfeiture of property. So 7 has 7a sub. Subchapter, it is reciprocal arrangement for assistance in certain matters and procedure for attachment and forfeiture of property. Chapter 8. Chapter 8 deals with the security for keeping the peace and for good behavior. The security for keeping the peace and for good behavior. Chapter 9. Order for maintenance of wife, children and parents. Order for maintenance of wife, children and parents. This is 9. The 10 is the maintenance of public order and tranquility. The 9 deals with maintenance of wife, children and parents, whereas 10 deals with maintenance of public order and tranquility. So 8 deals with the security for keeping the peace and for good behavior. So next is maintenance 9 and 10th chapter. So coming to the 11th chapter, preventive action of the police. Chapter 11 deals with the preventive action of the police. Next, chapter 12. Information to the police and their power to investigate. So once in chapter 11, it deals with the preventive action of the police. And chapter 12, the information to the police and their power to investigate. Chapter 13 is the jurisdiction of the criminal courts in inquiries and trials. Jurisdiction plays important role that is dealt in chapter 13, jurisdiction of the criminal court in inquiries and trials. So coming to recollect section, right? We can recollect from chapter 1. Okay, chapter 1 is, yes, preliminary. Chapter 2, the constitution of criminal courts. Chapter 3, the power of the courts. So 3 is power of court and 4 is power of the superior officers of police and 8 to the magistrates and the police. And chapter 5 is arrest of persons. 6, process to compel the appearance. So 6 is to compel the appearance, 7 is to compel the production of things. 6 and 7. 7 has a sub chapter, it is 7a. The reciprocal arrangement for assistance in certain matters and procedure for attachment and forfeiture of property. So simple thing is chapter 7a is attachment and forfeiture of property. And then 8. So 8 is security for keeping the peace and for good behavior. It is 8. So 9 and 10 is relating to maintenance. 9 maintenance of wives, children and parents. 10 maintenance of public order and tranquility. So 10 chapters is getting over. Now we are moving to the 11th chapter. So 11th chapter is the preventive action of the police. 12th is the information to the police and their power to investigate. So first the preventive action, then the information to the police is in chapter 12. Chapter 13 is jurisdiction of the criminal courts and inquiries and trials. So now chapter 14. What it is? Conditions requested for initiation of proceedings. The condition requested for initiation of proceedings. And chapter 15, complaint to magistrate. So chapter 15 is of complaint to magistrate. So 14 is the condition request is, and chapter 15 is complaint to magistrate. So to in this session, just this 15th chapter we can memorize and keep ourselves most familiar so that we can attend the exam with confidence. The MCQs will be asked with the chapter headings also, and the sections or the illustrations will be quoted. So we have to learn one by one everything. We should make ourselves very clear and attend the exam with most confident way.